with allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now that I got JB's attention. Start with the approval of the minutes for the regular board meeting last month. Motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Second, Jerry. Thank you. Any discussion on those? Good? All in favor? Everybody, 9-0. Second, approval of the work session minutes from November 14th.
I move to approve the work session minutes from November 14th.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. Any conversation on those? Yes.
I was not there.
You were not there.
Oh, it says absent. Okay, it lists the directors and then down on absent, it does list me as absent.
We
Lists
missed
me
you.
as present and absent, so I was there in spirit.
Yeah, there you go.
We missed you.
So it's listed, you're listed as present and absent?
Oh, I only saw
Okay,
who's
well,
absent.
why don't we,
My bad.
why don't we approve the minutes as amended and
As
we'll get it
amended.
fixed?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? 9-0. Tom, let's see, Recreation Committee, Joint Committee reports.
Good evening, everyone. Meeting started, of course, at 4 o'clock, November 11th. Current business. Tom provided us an update on the renovation at the gun range. Joan provided the Trailblazer usage statistics from the city. New business, Joan asked the committee to support using the Kingsdale facilities for kids triathlon. Those were approved, or that was approved, and is to be or take place on June 22nd, 2025, unless otherwise noted. Amenity reports, everything for the most part was in good condition. There were no outstanding items. Blowing Springs and the Gear Garden, nothing of major concern except the water station still needs some repair and repainting. Kingsdale Complex, tennis courts 3, 4, 7, and 8 are in need of resurfacing, and there are numerous cracks and dead spots on those courts. Lake Ann, it was reported a piece of dock siding has been torn loose next to the ramp. And Blowing Springs Greenway Trail, the recent storms brought down a lot of dead wood onto the trails. Staff reports, Tom reported that the 2025 budget will be presented, which has been presented on November 14th and voted upon this evening. Rick mentioned Norwood drawdown is underway, and the Rangers had 4,300 contacts in October, and that's down from the 5,800 in September. But it's up over last year's. October saw 2,750 contacts overall. The Avalon heated dock is completed, and net buoys have been installed. John reported that the trap and skeet usage is up and youth practices begin in December. Joan mentioned that the Not So Haunted event was successful and the fall tennis mixer was also well attended. Clay Llewellyn, who managed the BVRC area, reported that the holiday market was a success and there'll be another in the spring. There'll be no December meeting. We'll begin January, I believe, the January 13th meeting is still on, so at 4 o'clock. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There was no Lakes meeting, so Ms. Ruth, golf.
Okay, we had a meeting last Wednesday, and we had a very impressive event to share with you. The Futures Cup started 5 years ago. The first event had 28 players. This year they had 80 players. And the Future Cup, Dave Armstrong presented $8,650 check to Daryl Muldoon on behalf of the Junior Golf and the newly announced Junior Golf Academy. The check was a result of 80 players at the Cup donating $100 each, and $650 raised by additional individual donations at the silent auction sponsored by the wives of the players. The Future Cup supports the future of golf in Bella Vista, mainly the junior golf. And 2024 winner is the blue team, captained by Charlie Powell. He had not been successful in the past. Golf operations, Daryl Muldoon. Golf rounds continue to grow. October rounds were 22,516, 5,000 more than last year. Year-to-date rounds are 196,916, 15,000 more than last year. It's a record setting. We are tracking 220,000 rounds for 24. Both member and guest rounds are up over last year, and the pro shops were 125% more than budget for the month. Discussion was talked about for slow play. It was noted that one should check the hole-by-hole timing on the scorecard to determine if this play is really slow or you're just waiting because somebody's in front of you. If in fact it is slow according to the time, you should check with the pro shop because they're the ones that are equipped to handle it. And in 2019, Bella Vista had 125,000 rounds, and this year we're on track for 220, which is almost 100,000 rounds more than some of the slow play. More people on the course. Graham is mowing heights have been raised for the fall and the winter. Team Grass is hired to address the inquiry last month's meeting. Fertilizer projects have been completed. Pre-emergent dogwood Scottsdale have been applied, and pre and post emergence have been applied to Highlands, Kingswood, and Country Club. Turf coloring has been complete, and the course looks great. The coloring will continue throughout the month, the winter months. Golf pass. The asphalt contractor has been consulted about smoothing out the bumps on the pass caused by tree roots. It was decided and discussed that with the consensus being that the bumps are low priority when the money can be better spent elsewhere. It come out to be about $24,000 a year to fix the bumps, and it lasted about a year before they grew in again. So that'd be an ongoing process. And Tanya Creek driving range, the final grass surfacing different dirt areas will be completed in the seeding of the ryegrass in this temporary fix until next spring. Next spring, also the area has been sodded with Bermuda grass. Autonomous mowers and ball pickers have been ordered. 2 special events were completed this year, Rally in Pink and Veterans Day. Rally in Pink received a great review from the participants. Megan Vaughn of Scottsdale Pro Shop was complimented on her preparation and execution of the Rally in Pink event. And Veterans Day was a huge success and raised a lot of money for the Veterans Home in Fayetteville. Any questions? We will be taking a 2-month hiatus unless something comes up that we feel that we need to be here for that.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Next, Cliff with financials.
There we go.
Because we're meeting a week early, and our primary focus has been on budgets, I only have revenue to report to you this week. We will be working on the full financials, and we'll have those posted on the website as soon as they're available. With the holiday, it may be a little bit delayed.
These are actually 24.
Is that 24 rather than 23?
It's okay.
Yes, it is. Oops, sorry about that. So in October for the POA, we did beat budget by $133,000 with total revenue of $2,082,000. Food sales $437,000, alcohol $107,000. And greens fees, guests and member were, that doesn't look right. This is not the right numbers. Nope, this actually is 23. But I do have printouts of 24 I can read. So let me try this again. Huh?
We'll send that down. Yeah, it says 23 all over the place. I won't.
I can just read.
Yeah, just read it.
Okay, let's start all over again. For the POA, we had total revenue of $2,303,000. We beat budget by $199,000. Food and alcohol sales, food sales was $359,000, alcohol $147,000. This is how I knew that it was wrong, because golf greens fees, the guests a member together was about $400,000 in October. Golf cart rentals was $115,000, and the guest RV park full service fees was $55,000 in October. And the POA had auction proceeds of $7,000. For water, the total revenue was $936,000, which was $166,000 worse than budget. Water sales was $713,000, and that was the biggest factor in being worse than budget. Capital buy-in fees was $103,000, new service connections $88,000, and they had $36,000 in auction proceeds. I can pass those around if they want to see the graphs. That's all we have, but I just want to repeat that we're working on the full financials, and those will be posted as soon as they're available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Took a time machine there, didn't I? Nobody here to speak, no emails, correct, Jessica? Nope, okay. Moving on to Tom. Tom.
Look, I got tired of hearing myself talk last week too. Okay, so for viewers at home, this is going to be an edited version of the budget. If you'd like to watch the detailed version and listen to me speak for an hour straight, you're more than welcome to view the November 14th presentation, and this is how you're going to find it. If you go to the POA's website, under Member Resources, under Governance Financials, you see the budget, and then you can see the presentation, the packet. Everything is available online, even for previous years, since we have a nostalgia and going back to 23, so you can review the whole thing. So this is a highly edited version. At this point, the board have seen this multiple times. So first of all, you have the P&L. When you're looking at this, we're looking at the trailing 12, which is the most current actuals, the 25 budget, and then the delta, which is a comparison of the two. You can see that revenue is up, and I'm going to describe that briefly in the next couple slides. Cost of sales is up, labor and expenses are also up. So actually the EBITDA goes down quite a bit, and I ask you to pay attention on the next couple slides. The biggest change is on legal. We're running out of lots to sell. In many ways, we are a victim of our own success. We've sold over $3 million worth of lots over the last 5 years, but we're at the bottom of the barrel at this point. So that's good news in that we have more properties that are paying their assessments, but bad news that we can't sell them anymore. Food and beverage will be up because we'll have a full year of BUD 65 and a full year of the bar and the practice facility at Tanyard Creek. And we're anticipating golf to continue to go up. As of today, Daryl said that last year we had 203,000 rounds, and as of today we are at 205, and we still have a month and change left. And so if it's if the weather is kind to us in December, we're really going to shatter. We've already beaten the record. We're going to shatter it even more so. And we can anticipate to continue to do that in next year. And assessments are anticipated to go up with more lots converting from unimproved to improved, and our continued efforts to get everybody to pay their assessments. Cost of sales, when revenue goes up, on the F&B side by $1 million, well, you're going to have a requisite increase in cost of sales. The more burgers you sell, the more patties you have to buy. And then Tanyard Creek practice facility is going to go up as we sell more merchandise. when we open that facility, we anticipate we are going to sell a lot of merchandise. You're also going to have to buy more clubs to sell. We are proposing a 3.2% merit increase that will be spread between all departments. F&B is going to go up as with the additional restaurant and the additional bar. You're going to have more wages, and we're beefing up service at Highlands and other facilities. Parks, lakes and parks are going to go up with the opening of the gun range. We're going to have additional employees now, and we're actually beefing that staff up. So if you actually compare the labor going back to 23 and 22, we're actually going to be quite a bit higher than that because of safety concerns. And then the remainder is some adjustments, and most of all, filling open positions. When you have an open position, it makes your increase look even more so. Insurance is not being kind to us. $52,000 in liability and casualty. Health is going up by $115,000. So those are not very helpful. F&B will increase. More burgers, more that you sell, the more patties and the more napkins and to-go boxes and everything else that impacts cost of sales. Increase in software as we're trying to address cybersecurity concerns. I think everybody's aware of what occurred with the city, and we don't want that to happen to us nor to our water department, because a lot of attacks going on to occurring with water facilities or utilities. And then we're anticipating an additional vote in September for an assessment increase. The increase would not go into effect until 25, but by having it in September, we will have an answer for, what did I do wrong? 26, sorry, in 26 it'll kick in if it goes through. But by having it in September, we'll be able to know the outcome before we go to get the approval for the 26 budget. A couple of years ago, we did dueling budgets because we didn't know the answer for the assessment increase, and one budget is enough, let alone two budgets. And so here is the cash flow budget, and you see at the top is the P&L that I just went over, and you can see the capital projects, the water loan, the commercial loan, money to reserves, allocations, and prepaids. And so quickly, here are the capital projects for the coming year. We seem to need to get a new boat motor every year. I think we'll continue to do that, need that. Tennis court resurfacing, pool deck resurfacing, and then a few moves down, you'll see the Highlands sod conversion. So we're going to be using the sod to sprig machine that we're proposing, the two machines that we're proposing to get that will convert the fairways to Meyer-Zoysa, which we think will have a positive impact on playing conditions. We actually, we have 1.5 fairways at Highlands that are Zoysa, and we got a question the other day from a property owner, and they said, why did you overseed just one fairway, 1.5 fairways? And we said, that's the Myers that we want to go to. It stays greener longer than common Bermuda. So already a good result, and we haven't even started. Total dollar amount is $542,000, quite a bit less than what we've had in previous years. We've said before we need to catch our breath. The water loan payment, principal and interest, is $449,000. Commercial loan payment is $502,000. Planning on adding $200,000 to the POA's reserves. Allocations, we always get questions about that. This is like the corporate allocation because the water department does not have accounting, IT, marketing, MAC, legal, database, member resources, central admin, and Human Resources, so we actually charge them for that. So that's just under $2 million. This was a 2.5% increase over 24. And then we had some prepaid expenses that were paid in 24, but have a positive impact on 25. And so that's how we get to the total cash flow of a positive whopping $2,563. You can see how all that flows together. Once again, this is simple cash flow. On to water. You'll see that revenue is going to go up. Cost of sales will go up. I'll describe that. Labor and expenses for a positive improvement over the trailing 12 of $26,000. Revenue is going to go up twofold. More homes. We're anticipating 491 new homes coming online. It's actually not homes, it's water taps, but same thing. And we're going to be asking for a rate increase because the POA is the recipient of a rate increase, and we're just trying to transfer that on. So there's the cost of sales is going to go up. So the city of Bentonville is increasing their rates by 4%, and Benton, Washington, or Tucson is increasing it by 14%. So we're asking for an increase just to cover that additional cost. Labor will increase by 41,000, most of that attributable to merit increase. Insurance is going to go up. We treat insurance and liability and workers' comp separately. That's not included in the allocation. It's treated separately. Same thing with the property taxes. So here's the P&L, and then you have the allocation, which is the flip side to the POA. You have 25 capital, which I'm going to go over in a moment, the water reserves, and then an additional reserve for the water tower, the flip side of the water loan repayment, and then some prepaids. So going over that, you're going to see the allocation. We just talked about that. This is the flip side of that. Here are the capital projects. The one I want to call out is the West Side Water Tower. This is a multi-year project. We don't anticipate it to come online until 27. And then we have a number of additional projects that I went over in much more detail last week. So that's $1,367,000. We're anticipating that we're going to add $500,000 to reserves in 25. We're also going to create a separate reserve of $750,000, and that's specifically for the West Side Water Tower. Our goal is to pay for that in cash or near cash. And then the water loan repayment, this is the flip side of that. And then we did have some prepaids, not as much compared to the POA, but of $12,000. So you can see that when you get down to it, it has a positive simple cash flow of $55,000. I mentioned a few rate increases. I think what's important to note is none of these rate increases were part of the 2020 plan commitment. We're staying with that commitment. And also, we did our due diligence. We did competitive market analysis on all these increases, and we still feel that we're very reasonable. So some of the increases are large, but we really feel that they're reasonable. We encourage the property owners to do their own research. Don't take our word for it. So the first one is going to be for golf. It's non-members, and it's Friday through Sunday. It's a $10 increase for the 18 hole, and then 5 and 4 for Twilight and Super Twilight. We feel very good about this, and this is part of the reason why revenue for the golf area is going to increase. Water, as I mentioned before, our rates are going up, and so we're asking to transfer over that direct cost. So the 1,000 gallon increase is going to go from $9.99 to $10.64. Membership transfer fees is going to go from $200 to $225. Blowing Springs, once again, we did the competitive market analysis, and you'll see that the activity card rates are going to increase, and member and non-member, and we've restructured it just to make it simpler. And so for members, it'll be a 15% discount, and for activity card members, it'll be a 25% increase. So it'll make it a lot easier as opposed to doing all the math and so forth. Tent rates will also go up, but I didn't include this in the presentation. RV storage, once again, we did our competitive market analysis. These rates are going up quite a bit, but we haven't touched these rates in many, many years. Once again, I encourage you to do your own research. We feel very comfortable and confident that we're still a very good value. As we mentioned, we're going to go for a second vote, or the current plan is to go for a second vote in September of 25, with the increase kicking in March of 26. The board has not voted on this. There's no commitment, but once again, the discussions that we have had is to seek a modest increase, not unlike when we went for the 3 for 3. Can't guarantee you what it's going to be, but we want to keep it modest and reasonable for our membership. Any questions? That was fast, huh? Much better. Much better, yeah. If there's no questions, then move on to the vote.
Does anybody have any questions or want to dive deeper in anything? We've seen it a couple times, so.
Yeah.
And discussed it. All right, so flipping over to my motions. So we need a motion to fee schedule first, right?
I make a motion approving the operating capital and cash flow budgets for 2025.
Thanks, Jeff.
Second.
JB, thank you. Discussion? Nope. All in favor? Thank you. 9-0. And fee schedule, right?
Yep.
Motion for this fee schedule?
You're already on.
I make a motion approving the 2025 fee schedule.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the fee schedule? No? All right, all in favor? 9-0, thank you. Now, you want to talk some more?
Absolutely, because Jeff loves hearing me talk. This is the second and final reading for changes to policy 2.09, 2.11, and the bylaws. This is the second and final reading. If you're watching from home, this is the first time you've watched the board and they don't have a dialogue on that, that's okay. We encourage you to go to previous board meetings and previous rules and regulations videos, and you'll see much more robust discussion. At this point, this is the 6th meeting that the board has talked about these changes.
Thank you. Need a motion for policy 2.09, appointing a new interim director. This will be
Make a motion approving the suggested changes to policy 2.09, appointing an interim director. This is the second reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Thank you, Jerry. Any further conversation on this one? No? All in favor? 9-0, thank you. Motion for 2.1 director election process.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion approving the suggested changes to policy 2.11, director election process. This is a second reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Jackie.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Deborah. Any discussion? All in favor? 9-0. And need a motion for the change in the bylaws.
I'll make a motion approving the suggested changes to the bylaws. This is the second reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Jerry.
Second.
Thank you, JB. Thank you. Any further discussion on that one? All right, all in favor? 9-0, thank you. And that brings us to the announcements. That was efficient. oh, sorry. Does anybody have anything, before we get to the announcements, anything else to discuss before we go to the announcements, other than Thanksgiving? All right. The Lakes meeting is back on in December 4th at 2 o'clock here in the boardroom. GM meeting is December 5th. It's a closed meeting at 2:30 here in the boardroom. Remember, we moved some of these dates up for this month and next month due to the holidays. The work session is December 12th at 9 a.m. here in the boardroom and via live stream. Regular session board meeting is Thursday, December 19th at 6 here in the boardroom and live stream. Rec committee will not have a meeting in December, and as Ms. Ruth said, golf committee will not hold a December or January meeting. Their next meeting is in February. With that brings us to the end of the agenda. All right. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Meeting adjourned.